Happy Friday, kids on the Ridge. We're capping off this week with Isaiah. He was one of the major prophets in the Old Testament, and he talked all about the coming king, Jesus. Now he was going to set right all the things that had happened in the world. And you know what's cool is as we're going through the Old Testament, everything is leading back to Jesus. I hope that in these stories you can see where Jesus has showed up in all of these people's lives. Well, Isaiah is going to talk about that, and we're going to continue on learning about how Jesus was all throughout every single story in the Old Testament until we get to him being here on earth in the New Testament. It's going to be exciting.
In order to discover why Jesus was born, we must travel thousands of years into the past, to a time when God's people, the Israelites, were in the Promised Land. The Israelites were constantly disobeying God. Sin was rampant in Israel. One day, God sent a prophet to warn the Israelites about their disobedience. A prophet was a person who told people on earth what God wanted them to hear. One day, a prophet named Isaiah came to remind the Israelites of the coming of God's Savior. He said,
"For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness. The zeal of the Lord Almighty tells us this."
Even though Isaiah warned them, the Israelites still disobeyed God. So God sent another prophet. His name was Micah. His message to the Israelites was,
"You, Bethlehem, are one of the smallest towns in Judah, but from you will come one who will rule Israel for me. He comes from very old times, from days long ago."
God knows that when we disobey the rules He set up, we usually hurt ourselves or others. God sent all these prophets to tell the Israelites just that. Nearly all of these prophets also spoke of a coming Savior, one who would take away their disobedience and sin,